games that have taken 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe 6 or 7 weeks to make. What do you make of what's going on now? Look, Duke Nukem years. Gran Turismo 5 taking 6 years and still not out. What do you make of what's going on now? I understand all the assets that we've got sort of a few other people working on games now, but
what do you think about games taking years and years to develop?
The question is about games seem to take a long while to develop now, and obviously the notable example being Duke Nukem Forever. What does the panel think of the time it takes to develop a new game?
the polite version.
I suppose it's all relative, really. I mean, I do have two views on it. One, that I think an awful lot of today's games are absolute toss. But then again, if you look back without your rose-tinted glasses, the great majority of the games that were produced back then were horrendous. I mean, you wouldn't give them to monkeys at all. But today's games, I can understand why you have teams of 200, 300, 400, 500 people on. The bits I don't understand, and I've always found it, and I will go on record again, I blame Psygnosis. They started it all, the FMV. You know, Psygnosis games always came with an extra disc and had the FMV, I had the intro on, and people waited for it, and now every game has FMV. It's all got this cutscene shite in the middle, pardon my French. And an awful lot of it is badly acted, it's badly directed, camera angles all over the place, which leads to an awful lot of teams thinking their product is a lot more special than it actually is. What we do is we make toys, we're in the entertainment business, we've got nothing to do with the movie industry, we have got nothing to do with TV, we never will have it. We're two separate entities. And so I understand when people want a big game and there's an awful lot going on. What I don't understand is you have 200-300 people on and you say to someone, well, what did you do? Oh, I did the jangly chains that were on the wall in the background that did nothing in the game. I did the curtains that swish as you run past them. You know, who gives a damn? There's an awful lot of content in games today that is totally and utterly irrelevant. It does not add to the atmosphere. I don't care what people say, or go down on record, it just doesn't. There's games today that don't have a tenth of the gameplay, atmosphere or fun the games had back then. We didn't have the latitude to hide behind smoke and mirrors. We had to make a game fun to play. If we were lucky enough to make it look good, that was an added bonus. Today is all about the appearance with very little meat on the bones. Thank you very much.
A very popular answer there. Jim, I know you personally have been involved in a project that's gone on for a long while. How does that feel?
It gets a bit depressing, considering like we are creative people, and to work on something for such a long time, it's sort of dull, especially if it's not moving forward in any way. Like if you're doing a game for like, say 5-6 years, and the longest game you did before that was 9 months, and you thought that was a long stretch. Admittedly, you do have to put a lot more into the games now, a lot more of the swishy curtains, but the actual gameplay is, to me, is what the games are all about. If it doesn't play well, then there's no point in having the game. And the games of yesteryear, when we made the games in the old days, what we did was we did as much as we could with the technology we had at the time, and the spectrum. If you look at the graphics now and the contents of the game, they were good games for what they were, but if you compare them to the games now, they look, 16 by 16 pixel sprite isn't anywhere near as good as a full 3D pre-lit and everything model. So I prefer the older games because there was a lot more in it. There was a lot more baddie interaction. Like when things started going 3D, there was more. You had to go and find things because you got that extra dimension. And like I say, when they started going 3D, there wasn't that performance there that would cover it. Like, Mario is a brilliant game. I totally admire it. But when it first came out in 3D, it was, although it was still brilliant to play, there was a lot of times where you were going to find baddies, whereas every other platform Mario game, there was always a baddie on the screen, there was always some peril. That's my opinion on it.
Well, I lost interest when you put a game on and you'd spend 10 minutes watching the intro and 3 minutes playing a bit of the game, and then you'd be on another FMV, and for years I didn't play any games. So, I mean, if I wouldn't have had the patience as well to have been involved in these big teams and working on these games for years. I would have lost interest. But the only game that I've really been seriously infuriatingly addicted to in the last 10 years is Angry Birds. So you can't get any more simple than that. So it's, you know, the games with all the big intros, like Simon says, the FMVs, don't do anything for me. Just give me something simple.
Yeah, so actually that leads on to another.
What was that game again?
Angry Birds. Angry Birds.
On my phone.
That leads me, I'll ask another question in here before I take one from the audience. Looking at modern formats like the iPad and mobile phones with touchscreens and PlayStation Move with interactive controls, which format would you like to develop a game for?
Definitely something on the phone. Something really simple and something that people can carry with them and play on the bus.
Same here. Basically, what he said. Yeah, iPhone, iPad, Android phones, and the new Galaxy types that's coming out. You know, any portable device. It brings back the old days of what games were all about.
Simon?
The one that pays the most.
Short and sweet. Okay, take another question from the audience.